My dear students of Honors Part 2, welcome to the class. I am Siddhartha Shankar, an assistant professor in English in Government Horegonga College, Munshiganj. Dear students, hopefully you are keeping necessary safety measures to keep yourself safe from COVID-19 pandemic. Please don't go outside unnecessarily and use your masks and hand sanitizer. And if you are aged above 25 years old, please get vaccinated and inspire others to take vaccine. Dear students, we are discussing Oedipus Rex by Sophocles, the great ancient tragedy. Uh, in my previous lecture, I have discussed the characters of this great tragedy. Today, I am going to discuss the background of this great tragedy, the Oedipus Rex. It has a rich background, mythical background. Oedipus was in the hand of fate, and the destiny is destined of the basic thing of this great tragedy, that human being has no hand over his fate or destiny, and Oedipus also couldn't avoid his fate. uh, After the birth of Oedipus, his father King Laius, uh, the king of Thebes, learned from an oracle that Laius will be killed by his own son. So, King Laius ordered his wife Jocasta to kill the infant. It is risky to keep this baby. However, neither Jocasta or her husband had that iron heart to kill that baby, and therefore his legs were tied with iron and was abandoned in a hillside. And there a shepherd got her, rescued him. A shepherd rescued Oedipus and raised him and handed over him to a king named Polybus. Polybus was the king of Corinth, and Polybus's wife was Merope, and this uh, husband and wife, this couple, were childless. Therefore, Polybus and Merope was very happy to get this baby boy and nourished him as their own son. Merope and Polybus was not the biological parents of King Oedipus. Uh, Now, when Oedipus grew older, one day someone told him that he is not like his father. His appearance doesn't match with his father. Now, Oedipus was somehow uh, angry, and he wanted to know his identity. Uh, uh, you know, this source of truth became brought about the tragedy in his life, and he uh, then went to the temple of Apollo to know about his identity. But from the temple he came to know that he will kill his father and will marry his mother. Hearing this, Oedipus didn't go back to his kingdom again, to Corinth again. He was roaming about here and there, and he was on the road of Thebes at the time, and Laius, the king of Thebes, was going to the temple of Delphi at that moment, and he was the real father, but Oedipus didn't know him. Oedipus, he was unknown to Oedipus, and there were uh, five uh, five people with Oedipus at that time, and a quarrel uh, grew between Oedipus and Laius, and Oedipus uh, killed King Laius, and therefore the first part of the prophecy was fulfilled. It is before the starting of this tragedy, Oedipus Rex. And later he solved the riddle of the Sphinx. And Sphinx asked him a question. I told him in my previous class, and Sphinx was is a terrifying thing for the whole people, to the people of whole Thebes. And when this demon, female demon Sphinx was killed, the people got relieved from a big problem. Actually, Laius was going to the temple to know how to get relief from this demon Sphinx. Here Oedipus managed to kill the demon Sphinx. So the people honored him and took him to the kingdom and told him to become the king, and he became the king, and the queen was there, Jocasta. Actually, Jocasta was his mother, and he married Jocasta. Now Jocasta, his biological mother, became his wife. So from this couple, from Jocasta and Oedipus, there were 4 issues, and the 4 issues were simultaneously his son and at the same time his brother. So this is a great tragedy, and that happened to his life according to the oracle, according to the prophecy of gods and goddesses, and that he had no way to avoid. And the he was ruling the country, the ruling Thebes, with great reputation. People loved him very much, but plague started suddenly in the whole kingdom, and people had no relief from plague. They were dying haphazardly, and they came to the king to know how to get rescued, how to get relieved from this great pandemic, that is plague. Now from here the story of Oedipus Rex starts, and uh, here to know the reason behind the plague, uh, that Oedipus sent his brother-in-law Creon to the temple, and he also invited Tiresias, the fortune teller, the prophecy maker, to tell him the reason behind the plague, and it was discovered that the killer of the former king Laius has not been brought under justice, and therefore this plague has broken out. But actually Oedipus doesn't know who is the killer. He was searching for the killer, and this searching for truth, this searching brought about the tragedy in his life, and finally it was discovered that he himself is the killer, and he married his own mother. So from today's class I tried to tell you the story that is necessary to read this tragedy, Oedipus Rex. So thank you for watching today's class.